Without wasting your time, I'm certain that Genshin Impact is not a permissible game. I'm already aware that this game has previously been under fire by a lot of Muslims on Reddit for being haram, but not so much on other platforms according to my knowledge. The thing is, there is still a notable Muslim population that plays this game. Perhaps they don't know because not enough people are speaking about it. I myself didn't even know this game was haram until I got to the Sumeru region and then started asking some questions. I then came across a Reddit post in September of 2023. By that time, I had reached Adventure Rank 56 after over a year of playing the game. In other words, I had already attained significant progress in the game. Being someone who has played the game, it gives me leverage to highlight some of the haram elements in the game. Now you might be asking, why didn't you make a video earlier since you quit over a year ago? And the simple answer is I have a serious procrastination problem. But I did promise myself I would get the truth out there as a warner to my Muslim brothers and sisters. Without wasting any more time, I'll now provide my arguments. In this game, to increase your stamina to the max, you're going to have to get an homunculus to worship this type of statue, which is every statue in this clip of the map. And you're going to have to get a Geoculus to worship this type of statue, which is also every statue in this clip of the map. I know some of you are asking, can you avoid this? I doubt it. Increasing your stamina is very crucial because if you don't increase your stamina, it restricts your ability to explore some places on the map. So I don't think you can really avoid this, but at the same time, I don't think it's impossible. I also know some people are going to say, we aren't actually performing any type of worshipping. But the thing is, you really are. You are performing the pagan ritual of giving offerings to an idol. And the game literally reinforces this by replicating this system, but with an offer button on the sacred Sakura and the Vanarana. So this is a pathway to shirk. I've also seen some people argue that we aren't performing the act of worshipping these idols. The traveler is. So it shouldn't be haram. And my answer to this is the traveler basically acts as an extension of yourself in the game. You literally give the traveler a false name to mask their real name, and you control the traveler's actions to a certain extent, which further proves my point. At the very beginning of the game, before you can even worship a statue, the traveler is actually required to touch a particular statue for the power of animal. Now that I've established the statues are idols, it infers that idols can give powers. So yeah, it's undoubtedly haram, for the same reason as the prior argument. So you shouldn't even be playing this game from the get-go. For those of you who don't know who Paimon is or what an Archon is, Paimon is a floating creature who becomes your traveling companion. And an Archon is the god of each region, represented by the statues in their respective regions. Every time an Archon's region is released, the goetic name of the Archon is revealed soon after. For those of you unfamiliar with the term goetic name, in this context, it simply refers to a demon's name that is assigned to an Archon. What I'm getting at is that all the Archons released so far are symbolisms of demons. Although the Kara region has not been released yet as of the time of recording, that doesn't make the game any less haram. Remember the offerings I mentioned earlier and how I said the statues are meant to represent the Archons? If you connect the dots, it becomes clear. You're giving offerings to demons, which reinforces the shirk element I discussed earlier and adds a layer of Satanism to it. Any character not on screen is dressed in a manner that does not adhere to Islamic modesty standards. Therefore, it is impermissible for you to use such characters. Some people argue it's just 2D pixels on a screen, so there's nothing wrong with using characters that may not meet the Islamic modesty standards. The simple answer to this is that these 2D pixels are enough to cause temptation of the eyes. There are many people who openly express their attraction to these 2D pixels. And if these 2D pixels can cause temptations, then the rulings that guard against similar temptations should be applied. It shouldn't even be up for argument. Spending money on this game is haram because regardless of whether the payment goes towards the battle pass or the blessing of the welcome moon, which are guaranteed products and not gambling in and of themselves, but they provide primal gems, which is essentially the gambling currency of the game. So you're still paying to gamble, which is haram. This rule applies to any gacha game. Even if you're free to play, these games often have haram elements that you can't overlook. So I advise you to look deeper if you're playing only any other gacha game besides this game. After gathering some information on the Sumeru region, I became concerned about a few things. One of the concerns is the fact that in order to access certain places in the deserts of Sumeru, you need to complete a quest that essentially binds you to Lilopar, a jinn who asks you to recover some of her lost power. As you recover more of her power, she allows you to access areas that are blocked by vortexes. To use even more of her power, you must visit jinn shrines, which enables her to summon and suppress sandstorms in parts of the deserts, allowing you access to new areas. Furthermore, in the Caribert questline, Clotha bows down to worship an entity, and the traveler hears a voice in his head saying, "Why do you bow down? For I am no god, I am but a sinner." After the traveler and Clotha leave the worship center, the traveler tells Clotha that who he worshipped was a sinner. At first, Clotha calls the traveler a blasphemer, but after some self reflection, he agrees and says, yes, salvation for a sinner can only come from a sinner. Sorry, but I don't think there's anything you can tell me that doesn't confirm this is clear cut Satanism. How about the fact that the gate of the Dhulqan 9 leads to a boss called the Iniquitous Baptist? By the way, Dhulqarnain was a pious and righteous Muslim ruler mentioned in the Quran. How can a gate named after him then lead to a boss called the Iniquitous Baptist? If you look up the meaning of iniquitous, it means grossly unfair and morally wrong. The synonyms are wicked, sinful, evil, immoral. You get the idea. Why exactly did Hoyoverse associate a righteous man with terms implying corruption? Don't tell me I'm overthinking this because after all the pagan and satanic references crafted into this game, carefully crafted into this game, I would be more surprised if they didn't include a passive insult like this. There are still so many questionable factors which I didn't cover, such as the fact that the game refers to Harut and Marut as demons. But I don't want the video to get ridiculously long. Look, all I can say is that you need to stop playing this game. There's so much wrong with it that I can't find any logical arguments to downplay its controversy. Despite the fact that people will watch this video, some will still deceive themselves into thinking this game is fine to play just because they don't want their accounts to go to waste. All I can do is share this information in hopes of steering my brothers and sisters away from this game. I wouldn't want to stand on Yawm al-Qiyamah and have to answer for not using the knowledge I've been given to protect my brothers and sisters from sin. I fulfilled my duty, and now the ball is in your court. Will you stay away from that which your Lord has prohibited for you? Please share this video and discuss it so that more people are aware of this issue. I know I'm not perfect, and I'm open to correction. So if I made any mistakes, please make me aware of them so that I can pin them in the comments or add them in the description. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.